Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm here with Harry
Yo,
for episode 4.
four. Yeah,
At the
episode
time
four.
of recording, episode 3 currently isn't live, but that should be up
That'll be up by tonight.
tonight. And then this one will be up whenever.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, so today, not really talking about anything comic booky because we've dedicated more or less 3 podcasts to comic books,
That's all we're known for so far,
movies,
if we're known at all.
yeah, movies and whatnot. So today, something different. Why are you here, Harry?
Because you invited me over. No,
um,
bad joke. Sorry about
that's all right.
that.
And it's the other way around. You invited me.
Well, yeah,
This is your house.
yeah, but it's comedic saying that.
Yeah,
I'm trying here.
yeah, that's all right. No, it's good.
Okay, but yeah, so meaning,
Yep.
and purpose, basically.
Yes.
Um. Okay, well, if you're looking at that, would you think more meaning in general meaning in of itself or reason for being?
Let's go with reason for being, and then I'd say we'd probably
Okay.
divulge into that stuff.
Okay, well, let's kind of start things out. Food for thought, meaning for meaning's sake.
Yeah.
Um, Opinions on that. So basically, I guess you could look at it. So say, why are we here? Why do we exist? Many people, and like we've studied this in religion class, for example, many people often turn to religion, for example, for meaning. They'll look at God and say, "Yeah, the big guy's why I'm here."
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not overly religious. I'm more agnostic than anything. If I had to decide on something, I would say possibly, yeah, meaning for meaning's sake. Life in of itself, I would say, has meaning.
Mm.
Um, I think I think there's definitely a difference between meaning and purpose. So meaning, I guess, would be like being here, being alive, having impact on the people around you.
Yeah.
And then purpose, like what are you here to do? I would say you give yourself purpose. Thoughts?
Yeah. There's 4 trillion to 1 that you'll become a human being.
There's fucking what?
4 trillion to 1 that you'll become a human being.
Not a zebra or a caterpillar or
Yeah, like the odds of you becoming a human being are 4 trillion to 1.
Jesus Christ. Okay, that's
Um,
impressive.
yeah, that's from Gary V. Shout out to Gary Vaynerchuk. Check his shit out. Good stuff. We're definitely not sponsored by him, but if he does end up listening, then shout out, please.
You.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, everything has a meaning and purpose,
Yeah.
and
Okay, but
yeah,
looking at that, the way you kind of say that, so we are human because we're 4 trillion to 1. That's an amazing number, and I'm just doing this for argument's sake. But as an amazing number as that is, there's still what 7 billion of us on the planet, something like that.
more or less, yeah, about that.
So we all still made it. So nonetheless, even if the mere chance at human life in of itself is special, the fact that it's so reoccurring, or the fact that it has happened, I don't know if that necessarily gratifies meaning. So like even then, say there are 10 people on the world. God damn, that's funny. Say there are 10 people on the world. Even then, just being born into that incredible chance, I don't know if I'd gratify like some kind of predetermined number, some kind of chance as being meaning for life or meaning for person.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be honest. This is a lot harder than I thought it would be to actually talk about. I thought this was going to be like a very like just straight conversation, but no, it's actually very thought provoking and whatnot, more than I had anticipated. And as you said, 10 people in the world. Yeah, that would be lonely as fuck. When you say that, would that be a world like a current world like this now, or just where nothing's created? It's just boom, you're here, Adam and Eve kind of thing. If you
Kind of
believe
just
that,
saying.
if you believe that thing.
Well, that's more so just a case to kind of bring down. I guess that's when I say 10 people on Earth, I'm trying to amp up that whole 1 in 4 trillion
Yeah,
thing,
okay.
just to make it special.
Yeah.
But I guess, I know, sure, go with, say, Adam and Eve. So, boom, you're all here, you're all in this enclosed space. There's probably much more to the world around you. You don't know it yet, though. You're in the Garden of Eden, there are 10 of you.
How long do you reckon it would have taken Adam and Eve to mate?
Probably pretty quickly. They had God poking each other, so.
True, but like they would have been like you've just more or less appeared in this world. You
Well,
would have had to be of age as well.
yeah.
Oh wait, but then
Well, actually, yeah. Is there anything saying how old Adam and
yeah,
Eve were?
no, oh, not that I'm aware of. But I'd
Okay.
say it would be early 20s, so that way to
You
allow
would think
bodies
so.
fully functioning and hormones and this and that
Okay,
and the
but
other.
also a case of you look at, say, life expectancy. Say, this is really going off topic, but whatever.
Oh, it's alright.
Okay, let's look at it. So the way Adam and Eve were formed was you first had Adam born out of clay, and the breath of life God was breathed into him, if I remember
Yes,
correctly.
and then
Eve was then
the
made by
rib
grabbing a rib, from
from
Adam and making
yeah.
it
That's
from that.
why we have less ribs than women do. Is
Do
it?
we?
I think so.
Huh.
I think. Don't quote me on that one. I could be very wrong, but
I
I
feel
think
old.
remember.
Oh, no, that gets too dark if I say that. No, so here, I'm thinking with how old they were, let's look at, say, average life expectancy. These days, of course, we're looking at maybe 100 years or so because we
yeah.
can extend our lives that long.
But by the time we get to that point,
The body is breaking down.
Oh no, I was just more. I was gonna say by the time we get to 100, they would have found a way to prolong life even longer, if not
Yeah.
fucking indefinitely. By the time we're 100, if we, God forbid, make it that long, God,
Yeah. Well, here's the
it's a
thing.
long time, 100 years.
Once, oh, God, yeah, don't make me think about that. Fuck, I'm only 18. Anyway, kurz gesagt, great YouTube channel, infographic channel. They looked at that, say life expectancy. The problem is we've already kind of extended life as far as we can. The problem is now we need to look at extending the quality of life. Because it is a simple fact of the matter. You get to 100 and you're likely a wrinkled bag sitting in a wheelchair going, any day now.
Yeah, pretty much. Like
That's just living for living's sake.
yeah, because like well, if you've been around for 100 years, sure you've more or less experienced everything you've wanted to, everything.
Okay, but
kind
also
of the world has to offer. What would you be living for?
okay, but that's also a case of you say look at regret. People don't do some things they want to do. They get to 100. They get to fucking 70 and they're too old to do some things. Like my dad is fucking 50 and his back is fucked. And so there's plenty you can't do. I don't know if I've seen him jump in 10 years.
Damn.
That's not anything, but yeah, that is the case. There's still so much we can do, and personally, I think 100 years, while it seems long in the long run, well, even then, it seems short to me because there's so much. I think human potential, life itself, has so much to offer. There's so much potential in life. Because say in this talking personally, I want to be a character designer or a writer or whatever. That's cool. I can devote fucking 40 years to that, say.
Yeah.
That's still a fucking long time.
That still
And
gives you 60 left to do.
But no, here's the thing. Look at, say, Stan Lee. He didn't start writing comics till he was in his 50s.
Was it 50?
Yeah. Something like 40s or 50s. Because he was in the army before that, and then he wasn't successful until he got into the 50s, Spider-Man, and so forth.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
That's, wow, okay.
And of course, he made it to 95 and is a legend in his own
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
What about the 50 years before that? He had other stuff he could have done. I'm saying, personally, I would like to write, I would like to do psychology, I would like to do philosophy, I would like to do character design, I love to become a musician. Hell, if we're going really stretching it, I'd love to learn how to cook, I'd love to be a chef, I'd love to travel to every point on the world just because I can. I can't do. There's so much of that to do it all in full. You can't do that in 100 years, and your body starts to give out after a certain point. And so I think at this point, looking at it and getting back to the original point of how long we're living and quality of life, I think it's a case of now what needs to be looked at is extending quality of life. And so I've looked at that. I don't think living to 100 is a good idea just because you're a wrinkled bag sitting in a wheelchair going, okay, am I going to die to my heart or because the cat sneezed on me? You don't know how it's going to go at that point.
Yeah.
And so
just to clarify, that's very stereotypical wrinkly bag in a wheelchair. There
Oh,
are
fuck yeah, it is.
people in their hundreds who are like fit as a fiddle, probably more fitter than me, and I'm like nearly
Hell of a
20,
lot
and
than me.
that's rather disappointing. But like,
But yeah, I
yeah,
am
yeah,
generalizing.
yeah,
I am just kind of saying that because the outlook for a lot of people is that, you become weaker when you're older in
yeah,
general, and,
yeah.
that's just kind of
You can't
how
do what you
people
used to.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's just kind of how it works in today's society. Like your 20s, your 30s, that's when you're in the prime of your life.
pretty much.
Yeah,
You're
like
immortal to an extent. Like, there's nothing you can't really do.
yeah, um, yeah, you can't jump off a skyscraper and say, "Hey, oh, I'm good." Um, You
You can
said
say
immortal.
you
You
can
said immortal.
you can say it once right before you hit the ground. Hey, I'm okay. Splat.
You can't say it twice though. Thus, you're not immortal, motherfucker. Okay. But no. So that is what I'm saying. Like, I think at this point, a good thing would be to extend quality of life so that you're at 100, and you can be a track and field star. Because that is the thing. You look at it's a good ad going around, the Coke ad where the dude he drinks a
Yes,
bottle of Coke and
yes,
goes,
I saw that. Wasn't that
"What
playing
else have I been
the
trying?"
before Hellboy trailer? The before Hellboy
Yeah,
played
we
when we
saw
saw it.
that
Yeah,
before the Hellboy movie.
yeah,
We can get on to that
yeah.
another, but
I love that ad so much. Like
yeah, but that's the thing. He does what? He gets a tattoo.
he rides a
He
motorbike.
goes to a motorbike.
Um,
He goes to a gay parade without realizing it.
yeah,
He does all that at 50, but that's
What else
it
haven't
is
I
still an ad.
experienced?
Yeah. Say he wants to go skydiving. There, keep in mind, even if say you are fit as a fiddle, say you're really strong at 100, there are still people who say if you haven't gone skydiving, they're gonna look at you and they're gonna go, no.
Yeah,
The fact of the matter is, you don't, you can't live in your 20s and 30s forever, and that is problematic. And that even if we can live to 100, we can't fulfill everything we could do till 100.
yeah,
And so I think even if we can learn to live on, say, past 100, fuck it, we live to 200, we live to 300, we fucking become immortal. What if... Because
I wouldn't want to be immortal. That's
that's another question for another time. That's a
yeah,
whole other
yeah.
thing. But no, say we live to 500. Say we live that long. It's likely we could do that in like future technology,
Oh yeah.
but we'd be sitting in a machine to do it.
Did you see? Oh,
We'd barely be living.
you
That's
saw
just
Alita, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw Alita.
Where the promise to go up to the sky place and they go up in brain and the eyes.
Yeah.
So technically, not
Technically,
alive, but alive. Your mind is
depends.
still alive.
Yeah, if they
And-
took the brain, but it depends on what part of the brain they'd be taking.
Exactly. Well, in that,
Um,
it's the pretty much the whole brain.
Yeah.
And in a,
Well, they could also be lobotomizing it because they could be just looking for. At that point, when you're looking at a movie like that, when they can pick apart every piece of the human body, you can pick apart the brain and see what you want. You get someone who's really creative, you take away a part of their brain. You get someone who's a math genius, you take away a piece of their brain that is really good for that. Likely, with that kind of thing, they're taking away the consciousness.
yes. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Um, Stop me at any point if you want to
Oh no,
actually get
no,
a word in
no.
edgewise.
It's okay. No.
But yeah, so kind of rewinding a bit. That is kind of my opinion on that. I do think there needs to be a greater focus on quality of life. Because yeah, it's a thing. We have the potential to live forever, but what kind of life would we be
Yeah,
leading?
and then the quality of life thing, it's that in itself is difficult because like for us, our way of life, our way like what we would deem quality of life is a hell of a lot different to people who are in third world countries.
Yeah.
So us being very westernized, very how do I put it?
We want a TV and a shower and a warm blanket
And Wi-Fi
Netflix and Wi-Fi. Yeah.
we want all that. Whereas someone who has never been accustomed to that and never grown up with that kind of stuff would want food, water,
Yeah.
shelter, and that
What
kind
we
of
would
stuff.
deem basic necessities.
Exactly. So quality of life is very different around the world. So if they were to make a bigger focus on it, it would have to be a global way of living.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, given how
Well-
reliant upon we are on technology, or whatever, it would be
Yeah.
a very tech orientated thing. Because
Well, even in that kind of again, when you think about some of these issues, I remember the recent for Notre Dame recently. Everyone knows it went up in flames. So I can see you smiling. Don't say
I could
anything.
make so many jokes, but I'm not going to because
Yeah,
it is a very
don't.
historical building
Yeah.
and whatnot, and the memes came
Um,
out literally hours after, and
Fucking lovely.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't laugh at some of them. Are a horrible person. Yes, I know it's very
No, you're not.
historical, and
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, nonetheless, the point I'm trying to make is that came up, and I follow a lot of
you mean it went up?
Shut up!
Okay, it's the only one I'll make. It's the only one I'll
Jesus
make.
Christ! God damn it. Okay, I'm watching what I'm saying now. God damn it.
I won't make any other jokes.
A
That's
lot.
it.
I follow a lot of very political people, and
Yeah,
a lot of people made very obvious point about what was it, fucking 6 million or something was raised
600
overnight.
million.
600 million. 600 fucking $1 million was raised overnight to restore a church. Where's that going to the people in France, to the homeless? Where's it going to the rest of the world?
I was actually, I made that point to a friend of mine recently, and she was saying that just because it's not publicly said and shown a word doesn't mean it's not happening. But what I do, whilst I can agree with that, look how very quickly billionaires and whatnot could fix the world if they so intended to.
Yeah.
$600 million raised in under 24 hours to restore a building. Like
Pretty
if they all collectively put the world's needs like
Well, that's a case of looking at humanity in general. That's a case of either choosing equality, and that's choosing people over person.
yeah
Because if you do have that much money, it's likely you had to work for it for yourself. You fought for it.
yeah
Are you
yeah
gonna give it away? You have to be a very selfless person, which, quite frankly, in a perfect world, you are that selfless. Everyone has that kind of mentality. But to be frank about it,
we
it
feel
is,
better giving.
yeah.
That's
But even
proven.
still,
Like,
think of it like this. And like, I'm not condoning, say, like, keeping all your money to yourself.
oh yeah, no,
But
yeah,
I'm not saying you should give away all of it either.
yeah.
It's a case of
It's like Bill Gates. He
yeah,
donates fuck tons to charity and still is one of the, if
yeah,
not the most wealthiest person in the world.
pretty much.
Probably one of them. I don't think he
One
is
of them. He
the.
wouldn't be the
No, but
um.
yeah,
But even still, I feel it's a case. Say you look at, say, survival. We all want to live because life,
yes,
it's nice. We like it.
yeah, yeah.
And a lot of people rely on money for that. And so I think it is a case of how much are people willing to give away. Sorry. We're back. So yeah, that is a case of just how willing people are to give away from themselves. Also, can I make a quick note? Another thing that someone brought up, the fact that they needed to raise money for a Catholic building when the Catholic Church is one of the wealthiest organizations in the world.
That is true. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah,
The Catholic Church in itself, and again, here's the thing.
they have very
And-
nice priests.
Pardon?
Their priests are lovely, very child friendly.
Shut it. Don't go there. Not today, buddy.
Yeah.
I will put this out, and this is not to bag Catholicism or like Roman Catholicism or religion in general. This is coming from someone who has studied it at a high school level, whatever. The fact of the matter is, at the core of Christian values is to give
Yeah,
and to be
yeah.
a good person. Nonetheless, you go back a few hundred years, and the church used to say, "You pay me money, and I will absolve you of sin." That was a thing.
Yes, yeah. They go around with the bowl or hat or whatever through church, and you gotta
No,
give to 'em.
that's fair now. That's so churches can make a living because,
Yeah.
of course, priests, they don't get a wage; they get collection.
Yes, yes.
But no,
They don't
really-
pay taxes either.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you if
Why
you
they
if
still
you're
have
a
a lot of
religion,
money.
you don't have to pay tax.
But yeah, that's the thing. Go back a few hundred years, and I think this is roughly around when Protestantism started. Whatever.
I haven't heard that word since
it-
horrible histories.
Yeah.
Protestants.
But no, that is a simple fact. Here's the thing, dude. You could, if you were a noble, you could pay the church gold, and they would absolve you of all sins. So when you die, you go to heaven, no matter what you've already done, just so long as you paid.
Yeah,
the
so
church
that's
some money.
a
That's not collection. That's saying here
that's
you're
a-
bribing God.
that's literally EA's fucking thing, pay to win.
Yeah,
But done
that's
on a
what it
religious
is.
scale,
Yeah.
Jesus.
It-
yeah,
it
you,
is
you pay us and
bribing.
we'll send you to heaven.
Yeah.
If you don't, well, go see the horny guy.
Yeah.
The devil,
Don't-
not
don't
the
say
priest.
The horny
don't get it
guy.
wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. He means devil.
Yeah.
Although, but no. But yeah.
But yeah,
so
it's fucking pay to win.
Yeah. You're tipping off God, basically.
Yeah.
And that's
I never thought about it like that. That's actually really bad.
Yeah,
when
that's
it's
the
like
thing.
said out loud and whatnot.
But yeah, that's and the church has worked like that before. It's reformed since then, but it is still a case. The church has a lot of money, yet they, for some reason, needed 600 million that could have gone somewhere else. If they're so rich, you could look at the argument where they say we need this money to sustain ourselves, to keep as big of an organization. Sorry to refer to religion as an organization. I'm just going to say it like that. We
Yeah.
need all that money to stay afloat. There's still so much you could actually give. It's a case of practicing what you preach, pardon the pun. But
Yeah.
yeah, like how much are you actually willing to give,
Yeah.
truthfully, without just making yourself sound nice?
Yeah, on the topic of just Notre Dame, I saw something that people are annoyed because when they're rebuilding it, they're going to be using modern techniques and stuff to make it, whereas the original one took 100-something years to make and was done by the techniques of their time, like the architecture and whatnot, and building blocks of that time. Whereas now, obviously, it's changed, modern architecture, this, that, the
Yeah.
other. And yeah, that's how they're going to be doing it. A lot of people are not too happy about that. But then, well,
Restoration. in
do you
general.
want it up or not?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. That,
it's going to come at a bit of a cost, and
yeah.
a bit ironic given we're talking about prices, but like, it has to be some sacrifice somewhere.
And it has to happen one way or another. You look at people don't complain. Say you go to an antique shop. Sorry to compare Notre Dame to an antique. Kind of is, but when I say that, I say antique as in it's old and
Yes.
priceless.
Yes.
You say
If you are nothing without the building, then you don't deserve to have it.
I can agree to that. That's very good. But it is a case of, say, you look at restoration shows where they do that all the time. They will make a car look like brand new. You know how they do it. They don't use techniques used in the 1950s when it was created. They use modern machines to do it.
exactly.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Abuse the power you now have to bring back what you once had. And that's why I think they should be doing that with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It is smart to use modern techniques because it will bring it back just like it once was.
And quicker, not 108 years.
Yeah.
I know
Maybe
Assassin's
it's
Creed
5%.
Unity did a lot of 3D mapping when they were making their game,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they're going to be contributing a lot to the way it's the
Yeah.
look and whatever, the aesthetic and stuff.
good.
So yeah.
God, how did we get onto Notre Dame and all this? We started out with meaning.
Yeah, we
motherfucker.
did.
Oh yeah, Adam and Eve for one thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
rewinding bit. So yes,
Adam
we
and
lived
Eve.
a long time. I was going to say originally there on the age of Adam and Eve. Just quickly saying,
That's if you believe in this stuff.
we're just shooting the shit. Honestly, we're
Pretty
just
much.
talking about stuff. We got surprisingly religious real quick.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of happens when you talk about meaning and concepts
Pretty
like
much.
that. I
Yeah.
guess.
Oh, it's alright.
Yeah.
Again, this is just all our own opinions and
Yeah.
our horrible sense of humor, aka me. So don't take anything of this seriously. If you enjoy it, listen. If not, each to their own. If you don't like it, well, that's your choice. You have your own thoughts and opinions, and you're very entitled to them and whatever. But yeah,
So la vie.
yeah. Just a little disclaimer, which we technically should have said at the beginning, but little did we know we'd end up here.
Yeah.
That's where Adam and Eve thought.
Christ. Okay.
Yep.
So, Before this goes any further, don't make a joke on that. Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
I am saying. So we have extended our life exponentially. You go back 2,000 years, and people were dying of dysentery at 25.
Yes, life expectancy and
It is
the environment or whatever is harsh
So
and-
I'm saying, and that's the thing. How long is an animal? And I'm just going to use this in general, not saying humans are animals. I'm just saying we're organisms.
Yes.
How long is it meant to live? I would say probably gets to its prime, 25 to 30.
Yep.
And lives a little past that. So say at most we live to 40 or 50 naturally.
Yes, naturally, yeah.
To say Adam and Eve were born halfway through their life is a little much.
Yeah,
I
but
would think from the very beginning, maybe 18 or something.
yeah, I'd say that'd have to be
They were probably born fully developed.
Yeah,
but at
that's-
the
yeah, developed,
very
yeah.
edge of it.
yeah, so in order, because obviously God wanted them to mate and reproduce, obviously they would have had to be old enough where the female's body is capable of doing that. Not saying that
Childbirth,
it's
yeah.
not capable when it's 16, but
Yeah.
it's more capable at 18 when that's when
Yeah.
you're, I suppose not, you supposed to probably isn't the right word, but anyone who's listening is probably smart enough to know that someone who's getting pregnant at 18 is a lot better chance than someone who's getting pregnant at 16.
Yeah. But yeah, so nonetheless, I would say they were probably closer to 18 to 20.
Yeah, around there, I'd say.
And then they fucked at some point after that.
Yeah,
Basically.
I just wonder how long it must have taken, like, for them to realize that that's what they were there for. That's like, oh
Well,
look,
you-
what does this part here do? And-
Yeah, well, I had to tell you this, buddy. They weren't wearing leaves.
Oh yeah, I figured that because but yeah, obviously it'd be a bit confusion looking down.
Yeah, true. Well,
Yours is different to mine. What the shit is this?
well, again, they have God poking each other to do shit. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, I think then you're kind of looking at.
What if you couldn't get it up? Seriously though, like it's a thing. Like, what if you couldn't up and it's just like, ah, fuck, I fucked this
Hey,
one up,
you
didn't
know,
I?
1 in 10 men, and he's the only one there.
Exactly, yeah. Or she was on her period.
Oh my lord. Well, okay. Oh no.
What?
Just thinking, what? A lot of no
Say it.
animals around. What happened there?
Oh.
How quickly did the snake come about?
In both contexts.
I'm sorry to all our listeners. I say all. There's probably 2 of you at most, but
That can have consistently listened. I know someone who has listened to both of them, and I am very much appreciative of them.
Same.
And
it,
yeah,
we are. Might as well put this out quickly. This is our 4th fucking recording.
yeah.
We are very small time, if any time at all. If you're listening, even
Thank you.
just quickly, yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for
Thanks,
checking it
guys.
out
Yeah,
just
that-
quickly. Like honestly, it does help, and it's nice to be heard.
Yeah, exactly. Even if what we're saying is fucking horrible, but like it's
Thanks for being here, buddy.
yeah, but yeah, it's not supposed to be taken serious. It's just our opinions and having
Yeah.
fun and just doing stuff and yeah.
Going on to a kind of getting back to the why we started speaking in the first bloody place. Meeting.
Yes, meaning
I wanted to.
purpose and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking off camera, off microphone, whatever you want to
Yeah.
say.
Off. Yeah.
Yeah. We were just shooting the shit, and
Yeah,
we
because
did.
whenever I refer to it, I always say like we're filming episode 4. Like I don't say recording.
Yeah,
I
we're
always refer
recording,
to it
it's a little
as
different,
filming. Like that's how I refer to it. And
Yeah, we'll explore
hopefully
this.
one day we will genuinely be able to film
Yeah.
episodes and more cool shit. And yeah, but that's future.
That's far in the future.
Yeah.
For now, we're here. Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're meaning we got on to talking about it kind of while we're back here now.
Yeah, I think
Something-
it was after episode
Yeah.
3. No, after episode 2. I think it was.
Yeah.
We ended up with.
Because we tried recording. No, I think it was we tried recording.
What was
Yeah,
episode
we tried
3?
recording episode 3, which would have been meaningful like this, and then a tree lopping company came next door
Yeah,
and
because
started
we started talking about Michael Jackson and
George Pell
yeah,
and Central Park 5.
yeah, exactly. We talked about some
That was
pretty
hard shit.
dark stuff, yeah,
Yeah.
and then I think that
More
was
hard hitting,
yeah, and then
yeah.
the tree lopping, so we had to move. Did we end up
And
we
we didn't bother doing
no, we
anything with
didn't,
it.
did we? But we ended up just just
Yeah.
talking about religion and stuff and purpose and Scientology and
But yeah,
all
so
that kind of fun stuff, especially Scientology. Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Point I'm trying to make. One thing you brought up there was meaning in that. What was it you said? You said when people talk about, sorry to get dark here, suicide and taking your life, you said, who are you taking your life from?
Yes, yeah. Who are you taking it from? It's not yours to take, so keep your hands off it. And
What?
anyone who's heard that quote, it's from Sherlock,
Oh, wow.
season 4, episode
You got it from fucking Sherlock!
yeah,
Oh, my lord.
episode 2, I think it is. But when he's in a dark spot. But yeah, taking your life from who? Like
Here I am trying to think of some like real deep meaningful shit kind of
it's
because I do have a
still
counter argument that
it's still applicable.
fucking Sherlock.
It's still
Okay, but
applicable.
no, it does. It is
Yeah,
very applicable. I just for conversation and just for the sake of argument in a podcast, I would like to bring up an alternate one that I believe, and that you are taking it from the people around you.
yeah,
Because to put it this way, I'd like to kind of put it like this: life in of itself, I guess, has meaning in the effect it has on others. So that would be to
yeah.
say, I haven't really thought about it like this, like if you were just by yourself, but in a communal society, like humans are naturally social creatures. We
Yes,
crave communication and interaction.
yes, we do.
Um, Even when some of us, myself, like to sit in our room all day,
Even the most introverted people still
still want to
still
talk.
have their own kind of way
Yeah.
of communicating and whatnot. Whether it be if they're introverted, obviously not face to
Say
face,
it's
but
just on
the internet,
Discord.
yeah,
Yeah.
Discord, Reddit,
Like so many
all
people
that kind of
find
stuff.
haven on there, yeah.
Yeah,
So one way or another, we find connection, and that is the thing. We impact everyone we meet. Even
yes,
say, and again, just because this started on the topic of suicide, say you know someone and they kill themselves. Say you are their parent. Imagine how that affects you. Say you are their best mate. Imagine how that affects you. Say you just know them as an acquaintance. You're still gonna hear that they died, and you're gonna go, "Oh shit!" That's
yeah.
gonna affect you in at least the smallest of ways. If you bump into them on the street and then you see their picture in the news, you're gonna go, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
It brings life into perspective.
Actual experience on that one. Unfortunately, a guy whom I went to school with, he then moved schools courtesy from bullying and whatnot, and then I bumped into him on the bus he was getting on from the gym, and then kind of became a regular thing. Like I was coming back from Kalamunda, kind of where we live, like shops and whatnot, coming back home, and he would be getting on the bus from the gym from his workout session.
Get on.
He passed away. He took his own life, and he passed away. And it only kind of dawned on me that he's not going to be getting on that bus anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it hits you. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. It's just the little things that you kind of become accustomed to, and they kind of
yeah,
stop. That you're like, they're actually gone now. Well, shit.
yeah. Even when like the smallest gear stops turning, it affects the whole machine.
Exactly. Even the smallest little screw, once it's
Yeah,
gone, the whole thing kind of falls out of whack.
exactly.
But
And
yeah,
so that is, I guess that's the kind of thing I'm trying to say. I think life in of itself has meaning. You have meaning
yeah,
because of your connection to humanity.
yes,
And like even still, even if you come from a really terrible background, say didn't like say you never got to talk to other people, say you're always by yourself, say you had terribly abusive parents who didn't like you, you still have some connection, you still find someone.
mm.
There's still gonna be someone who loves you, who has a connection with you, and that strengthens meaning.
Exactly. Even if it's something as simple as the person you buy your coffee off each and every morning.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna notice when you stop coming, especially if you've been doing it for years and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like,
If you become a regular, it's not right for you not to be there.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. There was an ad. They were doing over Easter for to prevent drink driving and whatnot. Don't do it because what will your pets think when you don't
Yeah.
return? They don't understand. And honestly, that oh
Yeah.
heartstrings.
Well, another thing, they've been running this ad for years. Down by the train station. Again, this is in
Is that the one?
Australia.
Is that the one where he hit her or whatever, and he
No,
gets it tattooed on him?
um, not
No,
quite.
different.
That's also that's another thing
Okay.
actually. But for reference, if anyone doesn't know this, we live in Western Australia.
Yep.
Specifically in the Perth region. Around the train stations, they've had these for years. They have ads saying to be careful by the tracks. You know, don't fall over onto the tracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
A very important one I saw was saying it showed a picture of a woman clearly grieving. When you get hit, other people feel it.
Oh yeah.
If
Yeah.
you fall onto the tracks, whether it be intentional or accidental, if you fall onto those tracks and you get hit, hell, you're not actually going to feel it. You're going to be gone. The people who are going to feel it are going to be your parents, going to be your
Well,
best friends, your
one
family.
thing I will
They'll
say
feel it.
about the train suicide things, and this is probably going to be very, a lot of people I know are not going to like this comment, but
Trouble.
if you decide to kill yourself by jumping in front of a train, you are selfish.
I can see that.
Because what the fuck do you think is going to happen to that train driver?
Yeah.
He's going to live the rest of his life knowing that he's killed someone, even if your intention was to do it yourself. That's going to fucking mentally fuck him up.
Well, that's also a case of
Like I know a lot of people don't see it that way and whatnot,
yeah.
but
Well, I think
yeah,
I think that's understandable. That also falls onto the argument. I've heard this a lot of times. Like I've heard it, like it's been thrown at me personally. Taking your life is selfish because again, you're taking it from the people around you.
yeah,
I think your life is in your hands. It's your choice. What you do with it, how it ends, should be your choice. I'm not saying you should kill yourself. I'm saying
yes,
how it ends. You should control your life.
yeah. You need to,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it should be in your hands, and I mean that in the most positive and good way I can. With the whole, say, jumping in front of the train, that's the same if, say, someone jumps off a building, or if they, if they jump off a bridge into
God forbid the people who
traffic.
jump off a building because the poor guys have to clean you up.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
to have to
actually really serious, guys.
to
Well, it's
ha-
also a case of hitting someone on the ground as well.
Yeah,
You
like-
are saying 80 to, well, I'm talking personally, you are, say, a 70 to a 100 kilo brick
Yeah,
falling to the ground. You're likely to hurt someone.
yeah,
But that is a case. That's not as likely to go through someone's mind when they're thinking through that.
yeah. Obviously, in the sense, in going off by the your life is in your hands. You should decide everything about your life that is like of your own choosing, not because cunts have told you to do it or your environment is shit and this, that, the other. It should be entirely up to you. Do not let external forces dictate to you whether or not you should stay, because chances are every cunt who's ever said go kill yourself or whatever the fuck, there are usually genuinely people who do care about you and love you and this, that. Even if you think you don't, there are
You
people.
always do.
Even if it's just as simple people as just buying the coffee you buy every.
Even if it's just local barista you come into
Exactly.
every day and order coffee from, they still feel a connection to you.
Exactly.
Life matters because life exists.
Exactly.
And
But yeah, it's your own choice. Do not let exterior forces like your environment, your parents, your supposed friends, or just random fuckwits who say do it because you've done something and they disapprove or whatever the fuck. Hell, this podcast, when it airs, we might get death threats because of the shit we're saying, but fuck them. They're not going to just dictate to either one of us whether or not we should actually do it or not. Fuck them. Don't give them the satisfaction, or in your environment, or your parents, or whatever the fuck.
if I could suggest, I think a nice way to think of it, affect with the whole kind of someone goes up, affect the life around you. Don't let the life around you affect you.
That was probably the better way of putting it, yes.
Yeah. So essentially, don't let external forces don't let external forces affect internal thoughts.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't let your environment decide who you are. Decide it for yourself.
Exactly. That's probably a better way of saying it than me ranting, but anyway.
Yeah. That actually brings up another interesting thing though. What do you think of the idea of do you think a person naturally forms as themselves, or do you think we are created by the I can't English. By the society around us?
Ooh, I think a bit of both. I think a little bit of both because I think we are at a young age influenced by everything we are.
We have constant access to media.
Exactly. So I know for me, the way I was growing up was I spent majority of my life with grandparents growing up with them. British TV, so Midsummer Murders,
Yeah.
very old Are You Being Served, which is a 70s sitcom and whatnot. So all of my mannerisms and social etiquette stuff I have learnt from them. So that's that.
See that?
Yeah. Um, my mindset as well has probably been influenced by a bunch of stuff. Like I used to love and probably still do love, but I don't watch it. Like Midsummer Murders, Poirot, like Agatha Christie, Miss Marple, that kind of stuff. So yeah, so killers and stuff like I can't even. I know what I want to say, but I don't know the words to say it. My dark sense of humor is courtesy of the people I've hung around. So my friends, we make absolutely horrific jokes. Like they would. I was at a party over the weekend and we are playing
Please, I don't want to have to censor this podcast.
the Australian version of Cards Against Humanity. I laughed at too many of the bad ones and everyone else was quiet and then there's just me fucking cackling away at the bloody vaccinating jokes and the oh god.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nonetheless.
How about you? Sorry.
Go on, well, I guess I think there's definitely a case of you have a core belief to who you are.
Yes, we all, morals and
but I think definitely my case in point, like your friends do affect you. Like I do some things these days, and my parents will look at me and said, "Oh, you acted like this person," because I used to hang out with them all the time in year 7, year 8, and it still affects me to who I am today.
Yeah.
Or take for instance, I am, I am a total nerd, pop culture nerd. I love art. I love all that kind of stuff, and that's, I talk about this kind of stuff. I love talking about philosophy and meaning and deep shit. And that's probably a product of how I've grown up.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I did go to a Catholic all-boys college, and I did take a religion class. And my parents brought this up the other day, say I'd been homeschooled, I'd have been a fucking hippie, man. Like, looking at my parents, I would have grown up to be a complete and utter hippie. And so I would have been so much different. I might have had core like ideals, like I might have loved to think and to speak.
Your morals and what you dictate as right and wrong, because everyone's got their own belief system on what they believe is right and wrong. Some people are more morally flexible than others. Like I know me personally, if someone's drunk or intoxicated or whatever, and they kind of initiate anything sexual or whatever, I don't do it. I can't bring myself to do that because that's wrong. I've turned down a few people because of that, because I just don't do that. And that being said, if I had the option to either, I think we've talked about in another podcast, the dying dog thing.
Dying dog?
If a dog gets hit by a car and the nearest hospital is an hour and a half away or 3 hours away, whatever the fuck.
Oh.
I would rather kill the dog there than have it suffer for the next however long it takes to get to that vet with the off chance that it may live or not. Whereas most people won't be able to do that. Yeah. Whereas some guys can't do that. Whereas they would very happily take advantage of the drunk girl who's coming on to them. Yeah. So I'm morally flexible in terms of the death part. Like, I don't believe in prolonging suffering. If you're suffering and
To
there's,
be frank, I agree with that.
yeah, like I would much rather have to put down a dog than sleep with a drunk girl,
Yeah.
which makes me sound fucking weird, but
I
that's
think
just,
that makes you sound like a good person.
yeah.
Nonetheless, actually, kind of bring in this is a weird tie-in, but quality of life again.
Yeah.
Looking at that kind of thing
Yeah.
when you get to a certain age, and I'm just going to bring this up for a quick time because I can. When you get to a certain age, you're a dying dog. Do you want to live out with the chance of life in a hospital kilometers away, or do you want to end it quickly? That goes on to the other
So
topics.
euthanasia.
Yes, it does go on to that topic as well.
Euthanasia.
Very hotbed topic.
Do you want to talk about
Yeah, fuck it, why not then?
it? All right. What are your thoughts on it?
We're sinking this boat. Again, personally, I believe, and this covers the topic of euthanasia, I believe your life is entirely in your hands. And even if I don't condone, like, say, suicide, I believe that if you are sick, if you are in pain, and you believe...
Just before you carry on,
Yeah.
do you have the comment section allowed on YouTube when you release these?
Yes. Oh boy.
Good.
Oh boy.
Good. I want you guys to talk about. I want you to disagree. I want you to tell us your opinions. I don't want you to give us hate shit.
I have a soft heart.
Oh well, I'll read them and tell you. Obviously, I know people are gonna hate it, but like if you disagree, tell us why, and I actually discuss it. Like
that'd
I
be
would much rather have a conversation, and we will bring up your arguments in the podcast and talk about them. Because I would much rather do that and give you a shout out than you just throwing hate and saying, "Oh, you're wrong, you're shit, you don't deserve this, your
Fuck
opinions."
you.
Yeah, all that. Like, if you believe we are wrong or you have your opinion, please tell us. Like, I genuinely want to know your thoughts, and like we'll talk about this shit. But anyway, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, well, that is the kind of thing. I don't believe. Here's the thing. I don't believe in pain. I don't think pain is worth it. I don't think a life of pain is worth it. And so, like, personally, for me, if I was like fucking 80, 90, I came down with some kind of disease.
So if you're a vegetable.
No, not quite.
Not quite, okay.
Because, well, then you're questioning what is life in the first place.
And sorry, I know that can be a horrible term, but it's kind of the best way to kind of describe
It's
someone
the
who's
quickest way to get it across to
Yeah,
someone, as
yeah.
bad as it is. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, if, say I am on a lifeline, I still have my wits about me, I am still mentally capable, but I am in constant pain, stuck in a hospital bed, I would just say, yeah, pull the plug.
Yeah.
Sorry,
like,
that's a terrible
yeah.
term, but I would say that because I don't believe in living a life of pain. I don't believe it is worth it. And even despite the effect you have on others, what I was saying before, I at that point I think it's selfish not to let someone leave because we looked at this when we were studying with the Catholic Church. The viewpoint there is that your life is a gift from God that you are not to take.
Well, yeah.
Which personally, this is purely because I don't believe in a set specific God. I believe life is creation of humanity, life itself.
Yep.
So I do believe we have our own choice to it. The only time I wouldn't condone it, and this is actually a good point, is it depends on who's doing it. Because what if you do not have the capacity to say you want or don't want it? What if your doctor is forcing it upon you? That's where I think it becomes troublesome because I think then if it's not your choice, it's just not right.
Exactly.
Your life is your choice. It's in your
And
hands.
it also
no
kind
one else
of
can take that from you.
brings up, well, what is the pain as well? Because someone who's gone through a fucking horrific car crash and there's maybe a less than 15% chance he's ever going to wake up is obviously going to want to die more than someone who is... Oh, this is going to get dark if I can carry on, deal.
Go ahead.
For someone who gets bullied and has depression and whatnot.
Well, no, you are... It does depend, because I think looking at that is a case of physical to internal pain.
Yes.
And what you consider it. Because obviously, and as sad as it is, people do commit suicide at a young age. You know, like
Unfortunately, yes.
it does happen usually because of internal pain. Um,
Yeah.
this is actually getting really tricky for me because, like, I do believe in. I think it should be your right, but to an extent, I think you should give it a chance. Because
Mm.
here's the thing: if it's like, actually, you know what? Yeah, the dying dog thing you said, I think that
Yep.
is a perfect example because looking at it factually, looking at it statistically, if say the dog has a 25% chance of life, so 1/4, that's still decent.
Yep.
From that moment it gets hit, but you still need to drive, I don't know, like 100 k's to the nearest hospital.
You have to try and
Say,
find a way to keep it stable, to
yeah,
stop the
every
bleeding if it
second it
is.
is going down. And say that's happening to you. Your doctors, if they're good enough, if you have like access to this in the first place,
Mm.
they are scrambling for ways to keep you alive. They're scrambling to keep you to a point where they can keep you alive.
Yes,
And so,
stable, yeah.
yeah, and so I think it becomes a point of when the odds seem that out of favor, that's when it's in your choice. But
Exactly.
I do think there's a difference between physical and emotional mental pain.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Purely coming from personal experience, I found mental, like emotional pain can be fought more so than your immune system can fight it. I believe
yes.
there's always,
That's also yeah, I believe certain physical pain is worse because you can be in so much physical pain that you can't even move. Like you're
yeah,
just the only thing that's functioning is your eyes and mouth and your brain. Like I think that's a hell of a lot worse than having to try and shut up voices in your head. And a lot of people are going to disagree with that,
yeah,
but
I disagree with that. But
okay. Yeah, that's fine.
no,
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 please.
sorry.
Oh no,
Well,
don't apologize.
it,
That's your opinion. No, if you disagree, please.
I think it is a case when you look at it like that, because you do look at physical to, I don't know whether to say emotional, mental. It's kind of both,
Mm.
but let's say external to internal pain. And
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
not
let's.
talking internal like your organs. I'm talking internal like inside your
So
head.
mental.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go with that.
Um,
Internal, external.
you say in so much pain that you can't move. I know that there are people, I've been those people where you can't move because you're depressed. When you feel like life, like when you just feel that empty, you struggle to lift your arms, just as it is. Because I think there you look at a point of, keep in mind, your mind controls your body until your body gives out. And
Yes.
so if your mind gives out, then you don't even get that choice. And
Yeah.
so I think, and also say for people say with voices in their head,
That was
to put
just
it like that, yeah.
yeah, an
But
example or whatever.
yeah, say to look at it like that, that can be terribly horrific because I
Oh
think
yeah.
even then, say with something like that, you could be looking at not direct physical pain, but the illusion thereof.
Yeah.
So if you believe there is someone with you trying to hurt you, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not. It's a case of mind over matter, then how you trick yourself into unfortunate pain, and then also just kind of internal pain that you can't control. I do believe it is, I think it's easier to treat external pain to a point.
I think that's more like where I kind of see it as it's a lot easier to yeah treat physical than it
Mm,
is uh
yeah,
internal. Just call it that because there's a hell of a lot more stuff to try and treat external. Like you can have
yeah.
bionic limbs, cybernetic
Pretty
eyes,
much people are always looking at
skin
the physical.
grafts,
Yeah,
all this kind of stuff. Whereas internal pain, whilst it's a very big
it's
thing,
abstract.
there's still so much we don't know about it
Yeah,
and how to properly treat it and whatnot.
yeah, and more. Yeah, I'll just try and get this point across. I think physically, external pain can be controlled for a large degree, but there's a point where it stops. I think internally we haven't found that point because externally you can get to the point where you are that dying dog and we just don't have a way to preserve life then.
Hmm.
And so that's when I think, say, euthanasia would be applicable. I think it's a case, so I think you have many ways. It's much easier to fix external pain to a point, but we haven't gone past that threshold.
Yeah.
Internally, talking mental pain and talking mental illness, I know there are a lot of ways to combat it, and the thing is, I don't think we've found that threshold yet because we don't know enough about it.
Yeah, because it's
And
only really become a more talked about thing in the last, what, 2 decades, last 20 years?
pretty
Because don't get
much,
me wrong, it would have been a thing a hell of a lot longer, hence why
yeah.
lobotomies are a thing, but
Well,
it wasn't
nonetheless,
such a well spoken about
yeah.
topic.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, even say we look at mental illness. Sorry if I'm
Oh,
speaking
no,
over
no,
you at any
please.
point.
It's all good.
But yeah, mental illness. It's affected humanity for forever,
Yeah, and it will
and
probably continue to do so as well.
yeah, it's just as prominent as physical pain. No matter, in my opinion, no matter what you have to say, it is just as prominent, and in this day and age, can be even more prominent. The reason, and here's the thing, it has only become talked about in the last couple of decades because I look at some of my parents, and my father, God bless him, he's really open to looking at mental illness, and I talk to him about it.
Mm.
He's willing to learn about it, but he doesn't know about it in the first place because it wasn't a big thing when he was a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Same if my mum hadn't studied psych and gone into that field, she'd probably be in the same boat. I have grandparents, I have cousins who are just that little bit older than me that don't know quite as much because they haven't grown up in the same experience where it is such a talked about issue.
Mm. Yeah, I know my grandparents are definitely in that boat. My mum um, does unfortunately suffer from mental illness, but the way she, I'm trying to say it without sounding horrible. Yeah, I haven't experienced what she's experienced, but because of that, she doesn't think I understand it.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. That would be, so you're saying since you haven't experienced the same pain as her, you can't comprehend it in her mind.
Exactly. Yeah, that's yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but but then she probably couldn't understand mine either because she hasn't.
That comes down to a case of people that oftentimes look at themselves first, and whatever kind of pain, pleasure, pain, anything, we have our own experience
Mm.
that to a certain degree we want it to be ours. Even if it is mental illness, it is a part of who I am, and it is a part of what I know. And so to be told, for someone else to come in and say, yeah, man, I know the exact same thing, you don't need to tell me, I've been there, that still hurts to a certain degree because that takes away from who you are from like at some point.
One thing, I'm not gonna give the relationship I had with the person because then people who I know who listen to this will know who I'm referring to. But they would always try and one up people
Yeah,
when they were talking about their mental illness and the shit they've gone through. They would always try and one
pretty
up
much.
them by saying, "Oh, you don't know what loss is, for example," and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
"Smack! No, you can't say that to someone. You can't
Yeah,
say you don't know what loss is and not have a
but
full
it's
understanding of their
yeah.
loss."
Well, that's still defined because you need to look at things from individual perspective. Say this is a whole other topic, but say we look at race and oppression, as
Yep.
terrible as it is. You know, I'm going to be blunt about this. I'm white. I have
So
never
so am
been,
I. Just to clarify.
yeah,
Sorry, guys.
I have never been oppressed. I haven't been
That's
overly,
probably gonna get us a hell of a lot more hate now
yeah,
because we've just admitted that. Oh well, just okay,
whatever.
carry on.
Anyway,
Yep.
no, but I've never been overly oppressed or okay, I've been judged for the color of my skin, but I've never been overly oppressed for the color of my skin, and thus I do not know what it's like.
Mm.
I do still have personal experiences that I'm just not going to share with people about it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, pain is not universal. It is personal.
Yes.
Someone someone loses an arm, that's an incredible amount of pain to them. Don't.
Yep.
If someone loses a finger, that could be an equivalent pain to them, even though it's not the same thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm saying personally, it
Exactly,
can be
yeah.
just as extreme for someone
Yeah,
because they
like
don't know what that other end is like.
personal loss and whatnot. I saw this. Okay, this is probably just gonna bring a bit of light into this dark thing. A now Paralympian. I don't know his name or whatever, but he became a Paralympian because he lost his legs in I think a shark attack or something.
Mm.
And a girl who was interviewing him at the Paralympics said, "So, has it always been your dream to win gold at the Paralympics?" To which the guy said, "Not when I could fucking walk."
Yeah, that's fair on him.
I laughed so hard at that interview because, like, really? Have you
Yeah,
always wanted to be a Paralympic when he's only
yeah,
become it because he lost his legs later in life? He wasn't born like that.
yeah, true.
Just a bit of somewhat lighter thing considering the topics and whatnot.
Um, by the way, we might want to end this soon. We don't want to drag you guys out too long.
Yeah, we're up to, what are we up to? We're up to an hour. So
Yeah.
more or less the same as the last two.
In which case, we should probably finish this in a second.
Yeah. Sorry.
Needless to say, we've kind of covered a lot here. We've gone over a lot. Some very personal to deep to very introspective topics.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Needless to say, again, these are just our own thoughts. Again, personally, I'm gonna go on that whole kind of thing again. I think meaning has life for its own sake in the fact that you affect everyone around you. But yeah, just to kind of answer the question we had at the start, what is meaning?
Yeah.
Um,
Something I will say though at the end, which I will make a point to add in the description. If you do know people who are going through a tough time, let them know you're there. Lifeline, that kind of stuff. Seek help if you are someone who is struggling with it. We both have experienced our own demons and we know what it's like. So if you are someone who is going through stuff, please seek help. Don't think that it will get better if like just dwelling on it and whatnot.
you need to work on it.
You need to
Basically.
work on it.
Take
And for the people who have friends who are constantly smiling, check on them the most because people who are always like that often have the worst stuff to hide. So just keep that in mind whilst it's okay to talk about, like, for us to talk about this stuff and whatnot. If you are genuinely
yeah.
feeling or any of the stuff you're not in a good place, do seek help. Do try and work on yourself to get better.
Reach out in one way or another. Reach out to yourself. Reach out to people around you.
Exactly.
It doesn't even have to be lifeline. It could just be as simple as going up to your best mate or one of your best friends or your parents, just going, I don't feel right, and just talking to them for a bit.
Exactly,
It
yeah.
could be that, and also it is a case of I do think, just coming from personal experience, you do need to look at yourself and want to get better. I know things can be hard, but you do need to work
Yeah.
on yourself for things to be better. You need to put
Exactly,
in
yeah.
effort. With that message, again, we've covered some very serious topics. Hope you're alright, and I think we will end this here.
Yep.
If you'd like to send us out, Matt.
This will be released soon, hopefully along with episode 3, and we'll talk to you again probably after Endgame, actually.
Yeah,
because
that'd be a good one.
we're seeing Endgame this week. We will, with the title of it, we will say that there will be huge spoilers in there. So if you haven't seen Endgame by the time of release, please do not listen to it. We don't want to ruin it for you, but at the same time,
It will probably take us a little bit to watch anyway.
yeah,
Probably a good week before.
probably a
anything would
week,
be
yeah.
up, anyway.
But yeah, if you are a fan of it, please look at the description. Please look at the title.
Yeah.
Read it carefully because we will probably dedicate 1 full
Yeah.
hour to Endgame stuff.
This is episode 4, yeah. Episode 5, Endgame episode. Be careful.
Yes, episode 5 Endgame.
Be careful.
Stay
We don't want
tuned.
to hurt you.
Yes, we don't want to ruin it for you. And yeah, until next time. Yeah, cheerio.
Bye.